Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Reverend Mary Dunn, and it is my honor to be here with you this morning. And whether you are here with us or watching us via live stream, we want you to know that we are sending you our love. That we know that our Unity family is truly priceless. Do we have anyone here with us for the first time? Hi. Can you stand, sir, and tell us?
Guess I wasn't going to get away with it.
No. Just
Peter. Peter.
welcome.
Hello.
So, welcome. Welcome to our community. We are here to support you any way we can on your spiritual journey. So it is our hope you'll consider coming back again and again, maybe being part of our Unity family. So, welcome. We have information at the table over there that tells you a little bit more about us. And we're good people.
We are.
We really are. Again, just to remind everybody that we're still looking for a church home. So if you're out and about and you see something that looks like it might fit our needs, please either give Reverend Denise, myself, or any other board member the address, and we can go take a look at it. I mean, we're okay being here, but we want our own place. We're accustomed to being in our own space. All right, so we have a new book study starting from July 8th through September 30th on Thursdays from 1:30 to 3 p.m. The book is called Thoughts Are Things by Prentice Mulford. So this book can be purchased on Amazon.com, and it focuses on how to heal your body and your relationships. So Reverend Paul Warren is doing the class, and so if you're it's going to be via phone. So if you're interested in doing that, her number, it's not in the bulletin. Her number is 623-329-8363. So if someone wants to know that again, see me after service, and I'll be happy to give it to you. The prayer chaplain today is me. So, if you want to...
So line up in prayer over there.
Right, if you want to pray, I will. I'll meet you over there. Our board member today is Connie Greco. It is. Yes. So if you have questions about the church or the board, please feel free to ask her about those. All right, could you please join me in saying our opening statement? It's in your bulletin. All right, together. Our mission is to provide a prosperous and loving community by connecting to God through prayer and following the teachings of Christ. Can we say that one more time, please? Our mission is to provide a prosperous and loving community by connecting to God through prayer and following the teachings of Christ. right, please join me in affirming our opening statement. It is in your bulletin. Together, in the silence, I feel my connection to God, and I can feel His loving, living presence in me. Okay, one more time. In the silence, I feel my connection to God, and I can feel His living, loving presence in me.
Amen. Amen.
Please join me in prayer. When we say, Father, Mother, God, living, loving presence. We are grateful for this day, Father. We know that it was a blessing for us to get up, to be here, to be alive. And we do not take your blessings for granted. We send our love, our positive thoughts out to the community, out to those dealing with wildfires, what other calamity, challenge may face them in their community, in their life. For us knowing that there is nothing stronger than the Christ presence within. And for that we say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is. In the name and through the power of the living Christ. Amen.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory,
Today's daily word is boldness. I express my authentic self with confidence. There may have been times in my past when I believed I had to hide myself or pretend to be someone I wasn't just to feel accepted, to fit in. Today I realize I don't need to conform to anyone else's idea of who I should be, because I know I am a divine being, a child of God, and I am everything I need to be. With boldness and quiet confidence, I show up in the world as my trusted, truest self, to share openly and truthfully, to pursue my passions, and to express myself unapologetically. I face my challenges boldly. I need not shrink from daunting situations, because I am endowed with love, strength, and wisdom of God, all aspects of my divine inheritance. I travel the path of my life with confidence. Be strong, and let your heart take courage. all you know who wait for the Lord. Psalm 31:24.
Boy, you can tell how old I am playing Barry Manilow. But I bet most of you knew the song, did you not?
Very true.
It is daybreak every day. If you only believe, if you only believe. I love that song. All right, so you ready for my joke this morning?
Sure.
Okay.
Mary's ready.
Mary's always ready.
Mary's ready.
All right, so there's this older man who dies, right? And he grew up in a time of the Depression, and he was so very proud of himself that he had been able to save $50,000, and he had it in cash in a box in his closet. And on his dying last words, he tells his wife, "I want to die with my money in the casket. Please, promise me, you'll put the money in there." So she did. Or, well, she promises him, right? So she promises him she'll do that. And then she tells her friend, of course, "This is what he asked me to do. Can you believe that?" And she goes, "Well, you're not going to do that, are you?" And she says, "Well, I made the promise and I keep my promises, so yes, that is what I'm going to do." So the day of his funeral happens, and they got that casket open, and they're waiting for her to show up, and she shows up with the box, right? And she puts the box in the casket, and her friend said, "Did you really do that?" And she says, "Yes, there's a $50,000 check made out to him in the casket." I don't have James here to go to you know, there's multiple ways to solve a problem, right? Multiple ways when we think about it. All right, so this month has been all about prayer, right? We talked about the Lord's Prayer, and we talked about the days of creation, how they are actually steps in creating things. And today we're going to talk about a book that Francis Folk wrote. It's called Effectual Prayer. Because sometimes we do a lot of prayer work and we don't always see results, right? So I'm wanting to do effectual prayer work, right? I don't want prayer work that's not going to do anything. So she has some ideas as to why, when we're using our prayer time and we're doing our best to do this, why sometimes things don't work out. And she makes a reference to James, the book of James in the Bible, where James says, prayers are not answered because we ask amiss, which implies that we're asking wrongly, right? So what he says in that verse is that we spend a lot of time asking for things, asking for the gift, without getting to know who the giver is. That we ask and ask for things, yet we don't spend too much time feeling that oneness with God. We don't spend too much time in meditating to feel that oneness. We don't spend our whole attention on getting to know who God is within us. We like to get the results, right? But we don't like to spend a lot of time in prayer and meditation. We don't like to spend a lot of time reflecting upon ourselves and seeing how God is working in our lives. But we want the results. So I know for myself, I maybe spend 15, 20 minutes in prayer in the morning. And I feel like I've attained that oneness with God. But how long do I keep that after I walk out the door? Right? So I'm praying for this gift to happen. I'm in that moment for 10, 15 minutes. But then the rest of the day, I'm talking about the news. I'm talking about how bad the traffic was. I'm talking about how hot it is. I'm talking about all the things that get me out of that place of oneness with God. Because in all truthfulness, no matter how hot it is out there, I should be able to stay in that place of joy. You know, I can stay inside where it's cold, or I can ride in my car. There's lots of things I can do to stay cold or cool and to be happy and to be joyful throughout the day. But how quickly do I lose it after that 10, 15 minutes time in prayer? Because I'm not consistent. I am not consistent. And I'm going to get more consistent, you better believe me. And you know, I have my prayer time in the morning, I have my prayer time at night. But I really don't think that's enough to give God, what, an hour out of my day when there's 24 hours? How determined are you to know God? How determined are you to see God? How determined are you to feel His power and His presence without just having a wish list, you know? That God's the genie in the bottle and all I gotta do is rub it and my dreams will come true. It doesn't quite work that way. It doesn't work that way for us. Think about somebody that you've given a lot of time and gifts and attention to, and you don't get that attention back. Do you want to do more for them? No, I don't. You see them as a taker, and you don't want to do all that for them. Not that God thinks that same way, because God loves us no matter what we do. But you got to see that we're ignoring the principle. The other thing she says is, of course, we're in with our list of things that we want to see happen. And we don't spend any time learning the spiritual principles that can make that happen. We don't take time in using our power and our strength to use the spiritual laws that are there that work 24/7. We don't take the time to learn that. We just think God should, poof, I prayed and this is going to get resolved without me doing any of the work. And it just doesn't work that way. It just does not. There's the laws of giving and receiving. There's laws of forgiveness that we have to do to clear that channel that God can work through us. So God is not a genie in the bottle if we don't do the work to know God. If we don't feel the oneness of God. If we don't, I don't want to say try, if we're not open to experiencing new things through the power and presence of God, how will you ever know what that feels like? But sometimes we just go to prayer and we think, wow, I'm at peace. Things are going to work now. And 2 hours later, you're not in peace anymore. Somebody's got you all riled up again. You got your monkey mind going, oh, how dare she say that to me? Did she say that out loud? No. Yes, she did. So what? If you're standing in your truth, no one should be able to get you riled, ever. If you're standing in the truth that you are a divine child of God, that you are the love of God, that you are the light of the world, and you tell me I look like crap today, how could your energy ever affect the place that I am in? I would say, oh, well, you can believe that, but I know I'm a beautiful spirit of God today, and you can't take that away from me. Nobody can take that away from me when I'm in that space of knowing who I am. So sometimes, you know, we're asking God to do a lot of things, but we're not doing our part. We're not doing the work to know what it feels like to be with God. We're not doing the work to know and to be open, to allow that Spirit to work in and through us. So we have to play our part. Prayer works, and it works great. But some of us, and I know it's not, hopefully it's not just me, think I can just meditate and pray for an hour a day and think everything's going to change just like that for me. Well, it's not. It might if somehow I tap into that spiritual law that works. We normally call it a miracle, right? Well, it's really not a miracle. I have tapped into a spiritual law and it worked for me, but I didn't know what law I tapped into, so lo and behold, it's a miracle. Not to take miracles away, but anyway, it is the working of the law. The other area she says that we seem to sometimes not be so effective with our prayer work is our capability to receive, our capacity to receive. So, do you go to God with a thimble to say, here God, fill this little thimble, that's all I can really handle? Or do you go with a Mack truck and say, God, fill this Mack truck with my abundance and my blessings and all that I'm deserving of. God, fill this big space, this big room with all my blessings. But sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes we just say, God, I need $100 to get through the week. Well, why ask for $100 when you could have millions, you know? It's our capacity to receive. What are you asking for? Are you asking for a shack to live in? Or are you asking for a mansion to live in? It's totally up to you. Totally up to you. What do you think you're worthy of? That's another big one that gets in our way. Well, I'm not worthy of a new car. I'll get a used car. So where are you? What are you looking for? What are you asking for? Do you have the capacity to receive it? Because she also says unforgiveness gets in our way of our prayers too. Because you know, we're talking about our oneness with God. Well, how much unforgiveness do you have in your heart? Because that takes up space. So God cannot work in and through easily if you got a big chunk of your heart that's in that unforgiveness mode. So she says unforgiveness has a big effect on how well your prayers are manifesting. So we never get away from it. So what do we want to do to create this big capacity to receive? Well, first of all, you have to have faith. That's how it all starts, with faith. Then you have to have a steadfastness in your vision. Your vision. Now, I would say I have to work on that part too, because I have a big vision for our new church home. Some days I'm right there with it, and some days I'm not. Some days I think it's a joke. Denise, you think you're going to do something big like this? Some days I question myself. And how do you think the universe is when I'm so wishy-washy about something? One day, yeah, I can do this. The next day, not so sure. But that's what fear and doubt does to us. It makes us wishy-washy. And how do we expect the universe to create the things that we're wanting, the things that we're praying for, when we're wishy-washy about it? Wishy-washy. We can have a prayer for healing, and then 3 hours later be talking about our aches and our pains and the doctor's visits and how bad my body feels. Do you see how that does not work? Do you see what you're doing? That you took that 15, 20 minutes to pray, to be one with God. And where was your dedication to that when you get on the phone next thing and call your friend and tell you how bad your arm feels or your head feels or you barely got out of bed today or, you know. Can you see there's no consistency in there? That if you're praying and believing in God, then your words have to be in alignment with that. Your actions have to be in alignment with that. And sometimes that's breaking a big habit. It is. Now, every morning I wake up and tell God it's a wonderful day. I start out really good. And I may last about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And then something goes wrong at the golf course. That I unload a load of food that wasn't ours. And I get frustrated. Oh, they're going to fire me because I unloaded food that was not ours. The lady said, don't you know better to read the packing slip to make sure it's ours before you unpack it? Made me feel like this. So yes, I too have to practice I too should have gone through that day thinking, okay, so I took food that wasn't ours, I had to put it all back together again. No big deal, it was only me that had to do that. Unpack it and repack it. And when she said, I should have known, well, maybe I should have known, but I didn't. So it's okay. I learned. And that's what all lessons are about, is learning something that we needed to know, learning something that we needed to feel, learning that God is present in all things. Now, when I started this job at the golf course, I prayed all the way there because it was a new job, a new cooking job. And you all know I don't cook. Every day, I am working in the light of God. I am living in the light of God. It's a 30-minute drive over there every day. But once I got used to it, once I figured out I could do it, did I say that every day? No. I should have been. If I wanted to stay in that place of joy and happiness and seeing my prayers answered, I would have been staying in that place. But I stopped because everything was going okay. Everything was going okay. But it could have been going exceptionally well. It could have been that I made the best hamburgers that day, that I made the best hot dogs that day, that I made everybody who came in there smile, that they could feel the joy and love in my heart. But did I do that? No. That's because I'm learning just like everybody else. So you better believe from this time on, I'm going to go over there believing that I'm working in the light of God. I'm making hamburgers in the light of God. I'm shining my light. That everyone who comes in that place is going to feel the power and presence of God and see my smile and just know everything's going to be all right. That's when I'm working with God. That's when I'm showing up as the light of the world. But we get amiss. We start getting complacent. We start thinking, God's got it, I don't have to do anything. Not true. Not true. So she gives you some steps for prayer that we'll talk about. And the first one she talks about is preparation. And I've really never thought about it as preparation before. But when I pray with somebody, I usually tell them to take a deep breath and just let go of everything that you're concerned about. And that's what she's talking about with this first step of preparation. And of course, Jesus in the Bible says that it is easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get to the kingdom of heaven. Now that sounds like a pretty mean statement, doesn't it? But back in the day in Jerusalem, there was a gate that had a narrow eye that the camels had to go through. And normally for the camels to get through that eye, they had to unload them of all the stuff they were carrying, which is very, very important in this message. Because we have to let go of our stuff in order to have effective prayer work. You have to let go of the fear. You have to let go of the doubt. You have to let go of the frustration. You have to let go of whatever negative energy you are in. You have to let it go. And then, of course, he says it's easier for a rich man to get into or for a camel to do that than a rich man to get into heaven. And he says that because a rich man has a consciousness of materiality. A rich man is not depending on God to get through the day. A rich man believes all his power is in purchasing items. And a consciousness that is in that way is never going to experience the true oneness with God because he's too caught up in the outer world. He's too caught up that his power is in the outer world. So that's why he says that. It's easier to get that camel, take his stuff off, get him through the eye than for a rich man to get to the kingdom of heaven. Has nothing to do with having money. You can have all the money you want. But don't believe that buying things is your power. Buying things is your joy. Buying things is what you want to do in life. Because we've all been there. We get that new house, boy, it's fun. We're in a place of joy. But that only lasts, 2 or 3 months? And then you're back to where you were. Then you're looking for something else. Oh, I'm going to go on this great vacation, Africa, wherever. All excited, joyful. You go, you had a great time. Joy goes away 3 or 4 months. So we know that that true joy of God does not come from material things. It does not. Because that joy comes and goes. True joy, true happiness comes from within you. From within you. And this connection to God that we don't seem to be able to put, or at least I shouldn't say we, to put all our attention on. So, the first step is to prepare, to let go. Let go. Just take a deep breath and let go, whatever it is. The second step is to relax, which would be easy if you let go, right? To relax, to go through your body and tell your eyes to relax, and your shoulders to relax, and your legs to relax, and your arms to relax. Because you want to know why? I'll give you an example. If you have a child who's hungry and starving and wants something to eat, and say you're God, and I would give them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because that's where I am. So I would give them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And you give it to them, and their hands are like this. So this is where we are when we're not relaxed. How can you give someone anything when their hands are like this? You can't. God cannot give you anything, resolve anything, heal anything when we are uptight, stressed out, not relaxed. Because once you decide to relax, the hand opens and God can work in and through us. So the second step is important. It makes that space bigger, that God can work in and through us. So remember that. The next time you're uptight and afraid and scared of something, you have to relax. Open your hands. Let God work in and through you. The fourth step is concentration. Concentration on a spiritual idea. A spiritual idea. So this helps you stay out of that monkey mind that likes to chatter, and it will chatter. And you can stick with your one positive idea. I am an opulent child of God. I can focus on that statement. I can hear this chatter that says, no, you're not. No, you're not. You only have $400 in your checking account. You're not an opulent child of God. But I use my power of concentration, because you cannot think about 2 things at the same time. So I choose that one spiritual idea that says, I am an opulent child of God, and I focus on it. Then these other ideas have no space. You can't hear them, because you're focused on your one idea. Now, you can't tell me that you can't do that, because I know there has been times in your life and my life when we have been so enthusiastic about something that we just forget about time and how much work we've done, and we're just into what we are doing. Like reading a good book. You read a good book, you're not paying attention to the time. You're all engrossed in this book. All your concentration is there, so you have it. Or if you're doing a project that you just love doing, you could stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning working on it, and it wouldn't bother you because you're so focused on it. And it's fun and it's interesting. Well, why would we not have that same relationship with God? Why would the man who can heal our bodies, or the presence that can heal our bodies and bring answered prayers to us, would we not focus on him? Why would we not want to spend more than an hour thinking about the spiritual ideas and the spiritual laws that improve our lives. Why would we not be excited about going to class to learn more? Why would we not be excited about coming to prayer and meditation? Why would we not be just elated to feel the power and presence of God? Why would we not want to spend our time and effort and focus on the power of God? I don't have an answer to that, other than just its habits that we like to get caught up in the drama and the things going along in the world. But to me, that should be my number one priority. It's getting to know God, feeling God, connecting to the energy, to the power. Then I have the faith, then I have the strength, then I have the ability and the capacity to create everything I want, to have answered prayer. Wouldn't that be amazing? So today, why don't we choose to say, I'm excited about learning about God. I'm excited to feel God. I'm excited to see God working in my life. I'm excited to learn all I can about these spiritual laws and spiritual principles that will help me in life. Or would you rather stay in your rut and live yesterday the same, today the same as yesterday? I could do that. I could go to work just singing my songs, not paying any attention. Or I can go to work knowing I'm working in the light of God. That's how I connect to it. I focus on it. Then I can feel it. Then I can share it with other people. If I'm in my space when I go to the golf course, you better believe other people are feeling that energy of love and light that I am sharing. But if I go in there afraid that I'm going to burn your hot dog, it doesn't happen that way. And I haven't burnt anybody's hot dog, by the way. So, but that's the way it is. I have to be excited every morning. You have to be excited every morning that we're going to create this new church home, this new place where we can decorate it the way we want, where we can have church at any time that we want, where we can create healing and prosperity and people awakening to who they are and people connecting to God in greater and greater ways. Isn't that exciting? It's exciting. But we have to choose to be that way. And you can't count on me to do it all by myself. I need this entire room to be waking up every day and seeing this new beautiful church with flowers and trees and fountains and a tower that means that God is always there because the light is always on. We can get excited about that. So, her message is, we need to be so dedicated to this process of learning the spiritual laws, this process of connecting to God, this process of realizing who you are. You will notice all my song choices today are about realizing you're a hero. It's about realizing you're overcoming things. It's about realizing how powerful you are. And you are when you use the power of prayer to do things. It should be your number one thing. It frustrates me when somebody comes to me and says, well, I've done everything I can, so now I'm going to pray. Well, why didn't you do that just in the first place? Then you might not be in my office. So, we all have this tendency to put God in the background when God should be up there right in front, guiding the way. There's nothing to fear when you're working in the light of God. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing you can't overcome. There's nothing you can't heal. There's nothing that you can't do with the power and presence of God. So why wouldn't you want to know it? Why wouldn't you want to feel it? Why wouldn't you put it first in your life? I know it's easy to get caught up in other things, but I'm working on it. So can I get you guys to work on it? It'll be fun. We can come in every Sunday and celebrate all the things we accomplished in a week. We can have fun accomplishing many things. I mean, we got, what, 20 people here. It's a powerful group. It's a very powerful group. And if we decide to put God first, we decide to pay attention and do our prayer work and not to leave God out of the day, which we do a lot of times. When I'm busy at the snack bar, I forget God's with me, and the guy who told me to breathe got me right back where I needed to be just by saying a few words. Denise, breathe. Got God right back in the situation. So we have to concentrate. We have to put God first. Put God first. Get to know God. Don't be afraid of time and meditation. That used to be scary to me at first. Because, you know, I was afraid of that Moses moment where you hear this big voice saying, "Free my people." I was like, oh no, I can't deal with that. So yeah, meditation was a little scary for me at first. What do I do if I hear that big booming voice and it tells me something I don't want to do? Then what do I do? Well, guess what? That's never happened. Most of the time in meditation, I don't hear anything, which is okay with me. I don't hear anything. Because you're always going to get the message in a way that you can receive and accept it. So obviously, I'm not that person that can hear that big booming voice in the middle of meditation. It would scare the crap out of me. So God speaks to me in other ways. When I'm in the shower, I'll get an idea, or when I'm shopping, I'll get an idea, or, you know, you'll read a book and you'll see some guidance. I mean, it comes in all kinds of different ways. A friend will say something and I think, yes, that's what I needed to hear today. It will come in many ways. The mind doesn't come in meditation. I think it does for some people, but not for me. So anyway, we have this step of concentration where we take a spiritual idea, any idea, that the Spirit of God knows nothing of disease. The Spirit of God is perfect in every way. Whatever spiritual idea you want to use and concentrate on that works for you, use it. So then she talks about, after the concentration, you're going into a step of meditation. And in the step of meditation is where you find that connecting feeling of being with God. Because you calmed your mind down, right? Because you're centered on your statement. You've calmed your mind down. You're relaxed. You're at peace. And that is when you will feel the power of God within you. When you've calmed your mind down, when you're connecting to the truth of who you are, and you're in that quiet space, you will feel the presence of God. You will feel an energy. You will feel peace beyond talking about. And you will feel the energy. It's just safe. It's the safest place I can ever tell you where I feel is in meditation. Just knowing God is there. And I can feel it. Now, in the step of meditation, you are still very aware of what's going on around you. The next step she has is the silence. Now, meditation in her book is not the silence. Now, I've hit the silence a couple times. The silence is where you are not aware of your surroundings. You are not aware of the time that you've spent in meditation. You are just off somewhere. And I can't even tell you where, but you're just off somewhere and you have no recognition of what's going on around you. You could be in this place for 20 minutes and you don't even know it. You look at the clock and you say, wow, where did that time go? So that's when you know that you are one. You're experiencing that total oneness with God in this place that they call the silence. Because you've detached yourself from everything in the outer world. And you're just in this stillness, is all I can call it. It's hard to put spiritual things into human words, but it's a big place of stillness. Some people see magnificent colors, some people travel places. I've not done that, but it is a place of pure silence. And that is where big things happen. That's where all the answers are. That's where all the healing happens. That's when you know your prayer work is working. Now you can't make that silence happen. It just does. So, the silence is the next one. And then the last step, she says, you get the message, which you do. You'll get your answer from wherever it needs to come from in a manner that you will accept. Whether it's from a friend, whether it's from a book, whether you get an idea. That's a lot of times how it comes to me, is an idea, and it's normally said in a way that I wouldn't say it. A way that I wouldn't say it. So when I was having surgery one time, I was pretty scared about it. I was taking my shower after I had done my prayer work, and the voice I heard said, "Ye of little faith, only good can come from this." Okay? That's not something I would say. That's not how I would say it. So it caught my attention, and it caught my attention in a big way. Only good can come from this. And that is true of any challenge in life. Only good can come. So those are her steps of prayer. And the most exciting thing, I think, if you get one thing today, is I want you to know how powerful you truly are. If we just put God first in our lives, if we just start putting more attention on God than our problems, our challenges, if we just start allowing God to work in and through us, to get out of the fear, to get out of the doubt, to get out of unforgiveness, and just allow the universe to work in and through us, we will do amazing things. So just watch out, because I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So we'll see where we are this time next year. I'm pretty sure we won't be in this spot, but I can't tell you exactly where, but we will not be in this spot. So, I guess I went way over time. So we'll take our time for prayer meditation. So take a deep breath, just like she says, step 1, take a deep breath. And just let go whatever worries, concerns, challenges you may be facing. Just let them go right now. For in this moment, we are going to just be the beautiful divine expressions of God that we are. We're going to take this time and say, yes, God, I know you're here. I can feel your power and your presence right here, right now. This beautiful energy of love. A love that is so amazing, so beautiful. And it's right here within my own heart, within my own mind. So I feel it. And God says, don't be afraid, my child. I am here. I am here with you every minute of the day. So turn to me. Turn to me, and I will show you the way. Trust me, for I know the answers. Let me be that shining light. Let me me be that tower of strength. Let me be the beautiful energy, the beautiful love, the beautiful wisdom that is right here within you right now. There is nothing that you need. Nothing. You are missing nothing. For my love for you is the greatest love. So feel it. Allow this beautiful light to heal your mind and your body and your soul. Feel that energy and know the power and presence of God is within you. There is nothing in the outer world that has any power over you. So be the light. Be that shining light. And just allow this wonderful, wonderful energy of the universe to guide your way, to heal your body, to heal your relationships. For God is in everything. And we just allow that energy to move in and through us. We allow it to unfold in our lives. And we will see the miracles. We will see the dreams come true. We will see the power and presence of God everywhere. And we know it is done in the name and through the power of the living Christ. Amen.